Hello and welcome back to the training vlog. I always come out with these a lot later than I want to, but mostly because I end up training on Sunday, which is when I would record the voiceover and like put the clips together. But hopefully I can get a bit more organized with all that now. Hopefully your week has been great. Um, this last training week was the last of this like specific hypertrophy block. Hypertrophy. I can't speak today. Um, I'm also recording in my car, so if you hear a lot of like rustling, that is my jacket. It's now really cold in Calgary, so winter is here. I guess I'm not gonna make a corny joke about it, but I don't know. I feel like training this week was more like a mental sort of reset. Like there's a lot of little things that I'm working on now as we progress into this new phase. So technical development is happening, but there's also a lot less weightlifting here than usual, and a lot more like focused and specific work. Um, I think this vlog, hopefully, if I stop talking about lifting, will be a bit less focused on what's actually happening in the gym and more just general reflections about life and stuff. During my year off, one thing I really wanted to do was just create something and have it exist in the world that reflects this period of time. Because I turn 25 next month, and that's a little terrifying for me. Uh, so yeah, this will hopefully be a bit more like generalized towards some of my more philosophical thoughts over this last week. Um, and that is specific. I'm saying that word a lot. Well, what's been on my mind lately has been about who you keep company with. And I think that when you're growing up, you hear the phrase from adults to keep good company. And now that I am turning 25, the people that I keep around are much more sparse compared to when I was younger. And I have some context, like I'm not old yet, at least in the grand scheme of things. I definitely feel old because Imperial is 2 years younger than me, and um all my other friends are young. I'm the oldest in my friend group, but that's not new or anything. Um but I want to express more gratitude about the people that I keep close in my life, because they help in combating the fluctuating states of existential dread that I battle on a daily basis, or semi daily basis. And that's for a multitude of reasons. I think everyone goes through uh you know bouts of existential dread, and I just graduated this last year, so it's at a not an all-time high. I think it's at a high, but or at a reasonable amount, but also considering that now I am done school and I can't just like completely shove all my feelings away in order to get through school. It's left me with a lot of time to think about like why I feel this certain way, and you know where does it come from, if it's healthy or not, and how I intend to fix that, or if it needs fixing even, you know. And I think that being someone who is I like to say full-time athlete, because this is what my life revolves around. Being someone who is a full-time athlete, like, you have to be very like thoughtful about where your time goes and how it contributes to your goals at the end of the day. And because of that, it's cut out a lot of distractions. And I think like it hasn't been this precise for me since high school. And that was, I was playing football at the time, so there is a lot of structure and order to that. And I think that in university you have to juggle a lot of competing deadlines and stuff, and external expectations, and of course, the regular bouts of existential dread and stuff. But now that I'm graduated, it's like the first time in over 10 years that I don't have a lot of, specific deadlines to really be thinking about. The biggest thing is actually just me starting my career next year. And, when you're going at 100 miles an hour, a year feels like a long time because you have to make the most of that time. So it's like I'm sprinting the entire year. At least when you're in school, that's like the student idea, the student mindset. But now that, I've had some time away, like 6 months or whatever, I'm still finding that like anxiety creep up when I don't think I'm working at a rate that I want to be or I should be. And I think that when I was in school, I was much better at dealing with these feelings because the the bad feelings, the dread, anxiety, whatever, you need to compartmentalize and get rid of them so that you could, fulfill your deadlines and whatnot. But now that, those aren't there, you have no reason to put them away, and so you kind of deal with them. And I think that, like, a mistake that a lot of new graduates make, or at least that I felt myself making, is not realizing that those are muscles, like taking it to training a bit. Those are muscles that you train over the course of your academic career. And like when you don't have to use them, you're scared that they're going to atrophy. And so you pick up the same sort of defense mechanisms regardless of whether or not you need it. And I think that, yeah, it's great if you're jumping into a career right away and you're pursuing it really hard and it gives you a lot of purpose, meaning, and you find balance, whatever. Yeah, that's great. But I think the vast majority of people don't spend time away from their exploits in order to develop who they are outside of what they do. And so you get a lot of adults that just like, they're workaholics, and stress just eats at them forever. And the feeling of not accomplishing things will eat at them forever, which sounds entirely scary, and definitely, it's not the easiest thing to sort of deal with on your own. And I think that me having this loop of training and work now is giving me a lot of time to find peace and figure out what that means for me. Because, you have to deal with those feelings. And I am in a very unique position where I have this year off. And, I want to figure out who I am beyond that. And I think that, or beyond my career, because that's something that, I've definitely sacrificed a lot for the sake of, and it might not be in like sacrifice of opportunities or money or whatever, but it's definitely at the bad treatment of my body and whatnot. And now that I can thrust myself completely into training, I feel like I'm discovering, like who I am, and it makes training really rewarding. It makes time with Brielle really rewarding. And it makes me appreciate the people who decide to keep up with me and stay in my life and whatnot, because, no one is entitled to your time. You're not entitled to anyone else's time. So when, people do that and become huge influences on your life, like Josh, like my coach Josh, and Josh Strait, and other people who have like surrounded me now, like Pat and Ken and whatnot. Shout out to all of them, and everyone else who's decided to be friends with me during this time. If I didn't name you, I'm sorry. But it means a lot to me, because this process, I think, eats away at so many people. And I think that my biggest goal, I guess, in this time is to figure out, like, how to be happy and how to maintain and be like the owner of my own happiness, because you hear like, keep your own peace and whatnot, but you don't really know what that means unless you have to do it. And unfortunately, a lot more people reach a point where that becomes a reactionary decision rather than it is like a proactive and creative decision. And I say creative very deliberately because when curate your happiness, curate your life in a way that um, revolves around the like seeking the betterment of your life, emotionally, physically, spiritually, whatever, then you have to be a bit creative with your circumstances because bad shit happens to everyone. We see the state of the world as it is now, and it's really easy to avoid reality and not participate in it because as much as the gym is a great place to be, it's also a huge way to distract yourself from what's going on the outside. And I think that I don't know this for sure yet, obviously, because I am not international level weightlifter and I'm not an Olympian or whatever. But I think that the strongest people, the most accomplished people in my sport are people who put everything into the bar but are not absent from like the place that they are or the moment in time. They know everything. They think about everything when they pick up the bar. And I want to be one of those people. So it's important for me to figure out, what I want out of myself too. And that's a whole lot of, self-reflection. So thank you for sticking around for that. I'm thankful I got a bigger phone so I can actually record more of like a uninterrupted like stream of thought. But that takes me back to like I guess my thesis of today and this week is that it takes a village, no matter what. You don't know the influence other people have on you, and when you're not surrounded by people who are supportive of your goals, whether that is explicitly or implicitly, then you're not gonna go where you want to. And a lot of that distress can be taken personally when it's not necessarily anything you can change on your own. It's more like the people around you just aren't conducive to that. But everyone has their own circumstances, and it's kind of up to you to figure out am I around people that reward me in I don't know if reward is the right word. Am I around people that reciprocate the feelings that I have, or like just care about my well-being beyond my output or my effect on their lives? And if you say like not entirely, then I feel like there are people out there that will care about you regardless of what you're able to do. And in the age of networking and social media and stuff, it's really easy to forget that like people are more beyond what they do and what they're capable of. And that's sort of like the track I'm on, that rediscovery. I'm closer again to being motivated to write like poetry and stuff. And when the time is right, I'll find it again. But I think that this emotional journey I'm on is much more important than any sort of time-bound goal I might have with like getting a book out or starting my career. Because at the end of the day, you go back to yourself and the people that you love. So make sure you're a good person for them. And then, everything else is gravy. And I think that I say that a lot to people when they find out, oh yeah, no, like all I do is weightlift. It's because these types of lessons are what I learned with the bar. And, they keep me going. Everything else is gravy when you do something you love and you're surrounded by people that love you. So, yeah, not to get too sentimental, this is the last clip of the day. So I really appreciate everyone sticking out through this conscious stream of thought. If you like it, let me know. And yeah, training overall, really great. This week's going to be great too. So I hope you stay warm, and I'll catch you guys next time. Goodbye.